see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sex.
A surprising decision finally came from the Yamaha garage at the 2026 French MotoGP sprint race. After months of intense development of the V4 engine project, which was full of pressure and scrutiny, Yamaha made a completely unexpected move. Toprak Razgatlioglu and Fabio Quartararo reportedly returned to using an inline-4 engine in the sprint race at the Bugatti circuit at Le Mans. This decision immediately raised major questions in the MotoGP paddock. Many assumed Yamaha was ready to abandon its old style, but the reality on the track suggested otherwise. From the start of the weekend, the atmosphere in the Yamaha garage had been noticeably different. Technicians were seen continuously comparing data between the new V4 bike and the inline package they had long used. In several practice sessions, the V4 bike did indeed demonstrate significant power on the straights. However, the main problem remained. The bike looked aggressive when accelerating out of corners, but front-end stability remained inconsistent, especially when riders pushed the bike into the fast corners of Le Mans. Toprak was the most vocal rider about this issue. The Turkish rider was seen several times in serious discussions with the Yamaha technical crew after the session. His body language indicated that there was still something he wasn't comfortable with. Although the V4 bike offered significantly more power than the previous generation, Toprak felt the bike's braking and directional characteristics didn't fully suit his aggressive riding style. A major decision was made just hours before the sprint race began. Yamaha opted to revert to an inline engine for Toprak and Fabio. This move was considered the safest solution to maintain consistent performance in short, intense races like the sprint race. At Le Mans, cornering stability and traction in technical areas are far more important than top speed alone. Fabio Quartararo himself wasn't particularly surprised by the decision. The French rider had long understood the characteristics of Yamaha's inline bikes. He knew how to maximize front-end grip and maintain high corner speed, the bike's main strengths. And in front of his home crowd, Fabio certainly didn't want to take such a big risk using a package that wasn't yet fully perfect. Meanwhile, Toprak was the center of attention. Many observers wondered if the rider, known for his brutal braking, could remain competitive with Yamaha's inline package. However, the initial results left everyone speechless. In race pace simulations, Toprak looked much more comfortable. The bike seemed more composed entering corners, and he was able to attack more aggressively under hard braking. Here's the full news. The most surprising decision finally came to fruition in the 2026 French MotoGP paddock. While everyone expected Yamaha to push their latest V4 engine project in the Le Mans sprint race, the opposite situation emerged just hours before the starting lights. Toprak Razgatlioglu and Fabio Quartararo suddenly returned to using Yamaha's inline-4 engine for the sprint race at the Bugatti circuit. This decision immediately shook the paddock, as Yamaha had previously seemed very confident in their revolutionary V4 project. For the past few months, Yamaha has been in the spotlight in MotoGP. The Japanese manufacturer seemed to be racing against time to catch up with Ducati, KTM, and even Aprilia. After years of maintaining its inline-4 engine identity, Yamaha has finally begun a new era with a much more aggressive and modern V4 concept. Many believe this is the only way for Yamaha to return to competitiveness in the current MotoGP era. However, the reality on the track is not as easy as the theory on paper. From the moment the first practice session began at Le Mans, signs of Yamaha's problems were clear. Their V4 bike was indeed very fast on the straights. Its top speed even began to approach that of the Ducati. However, when entering technical sections full of fast corners and hard braking, the bike still seemed wild and difficult to control. Several times, The front end of the bike seemed to lose stability as the rider forced his way into the corner. Toprak was the first rider to appear uncomfortable with the situation. The Turkish rider shook his head several times after returning to the pits. He immediately had a serious discussion with Yamaha engineers, pointing at the telemetry data on the monitor. His body language indicated a major problem that Yamaha had yet to resolve. Toprak's riding style is truly unique. He is known as the rider with the most extreme braking skills in motorcycle racing today. Toprak relies heavily on front-end stability when entering corners. He likes to attack the bike to its maximum limit. And when the front end doesn't inspire confidence, his performance drastically changes. This problem appears to be the case with Yamaha's V4 bike. The new engine does have a lot of power, but its weight distribution and braking characteristics still don't fully suit Toprak's riding style. The bike appears too aggressive during deceleration. The front tire works too hard, and the bike's directional changes aren't as smooth as Yamaha's old inline package. Fabio Quartararo actually experienced a similar situation. The difference was that Fabio was calmer in his comments. The French rider had been familiar with Yamaha's characteristics for years. He knew exactly how to utilize corner speed and maintain momentum in long corners. However, even Fabio seemed to be getting frustrated when the V4 bike lost balance in several sectors of Le Mans. And this is where the big moment finally came. A few hours before the sprint race began, Yamaha made an emergency decision. They decided to return to using an inline-4 engine for Toprak and Fabio. The entire paddock was immediately in an uproar. Many rival team crews were even seen visiting the Yamaha garage to confirm the news. Because this was no small decision. It seemed like Yamaha was starting to realize that their V4 project wasn't fully ready to compete in real race conditions. But for Yamaha, this wasn't a matter of giving up. It was a matter of survival. Le Mans is one of the most technical circuits on the MotoGP calendar. The track is filled with stop-and-go areas, extreme braking, and quick changes of direction. Bike stability is far more important than sheer brute force. And even in these conditions, the Yamaha inline engine still has a very strong natural advantage. When the sprint race simulation was conducted, the performance changes were immediately apparent. Toprak looked much more comfortable. The bike could stop more stably when entering corners. He also looked much more aggressive when attacking the apex. Several times, Toprak even recorded the fastest sectors in technical areas, which had previously been his weak point when using the V4. Fabio also made significant improvements. The French rider once again demonstrated his trademark style of maintaining high corner speed. The Yamaha inline engine felt much more natural in his hands. The home crowd cheered every time Fabio completed the final sector at incredible speed. And what was most surprising was the expression of the Yamaha engineers themselves. For the first time all weekend, the atmosphere in their garage was noticeably calmer. The crew seemed more confident as data showed tire stability and race pace were much more consistent than the previous V4 package. However, the decision to return to the inline engine also opened up many big questions about the future ahead of Yamaha. Is their V4 project really on the right track? Or is Yamaha rushing into trying to emulate Ducati's concept? Because one thing is starting to become very clear at Le Mans. Big engines and brutal power aren't enough to win modern MotoGP races. Riders still need complete confidence in their bikes. Without that feeling, all the power in the world is meaningless. Toprak himself is starting to show signs that he might be better suited to Yamaha's inline-spec bikes. His aggressive riding style seems to combine very well with the bike's front-end stability. Some paddock analysts are even beginning to say that Yamaha is now at a major crossroads. They must decide whether to push the V4 project further or develop a hybrid concept that maintains Yamaha's signature corner speed. On the other hand, Ducati and KTM are starting to take this situation seriously. Because if Yamaha finally manages to find the perfect balance between inline spec stability and modern power, a major threat could emerge in the second half of the 2026 season. And let's not forget one important thing. Toprak Razgatlioglu has yet to truly demonstrate his full potential in MotoGP. Many believe the Turkish rider is still adapting. But when he finds a bike that truly suits his riding style, things could change very quickly. Le Mans could be the beginning of that moment. Now the 2026 French MotoGP sprint race feels far more exciting than ever. All eyes are on the two Yamaha riders. Fabio carries the hopes of the home crowd, while Toprak carries the curiosity of the entire MotoGP paddock. Will the decision to return to inline engines be a turning point for Yamaha? Or is this just proof that their V4 project is in serious crisis? The answer will be revealed when the lights go out at Le Mans tonight. And if Toprak and Fabio can surprise, then the entire MotoGP world will realize that Yamaha is not finished yet. In fact, perhaps, they have just begun a true renaissance.